Hey everybody, Officer Granite here. I've got a Hoot Hoot exploded on my table. All the printing is done. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 printed parts for this project. You only need 8 of them, but I printed 2 different feet depending on how I was going to mount him, whether he's going to be on the table or on my glove. The toes curl a little bit to make it a little more seamless. The next step in the process is to mock this up with tape, attach certain things together so that we can make patterns for our fake fur. Okay, so now we've made our patterns. We've got our painter's tape that has been transferred onto poster board. Now, this may not look like anything, but because Hoot Hoot is basically a volleyball with eyes, the curve comes out weird in patterns. But if you start to combine the curves, you eventually start to see the curvature of half of a Hoot Hoot body. Now, this tape is very rudimentary, but you can see where the curves start to show. And that becomes our first fabric pattern. What we'll do is we'll flip it inside out. We'll pin the different edges, and we'll slowly and methodically hand sew this, because I'm not delicate with a sewing machine, but I can get the really close stitching by hand. So I'm going to do that, and we'll come back. So after literally 2 to 3 hours of sewing, I have the fur for about 80% of Hoot Hoot finished. Now, I've tacked it on with hot glue so you guys can see how it folds and goes with the curve, but here is Hoot Hoot. He's missing the beige patch on his chest and the tail feathers, but that can come as an afterthought. I've also got to fill in some patches next to his beak, but yeah, this is my little volleyball of ominousness. He's definitely not a Pidgey, but he's the next regional bird in line. Alright, we're back at it today with Hoot Hoot. As you guys know, with all my previous builds, if I need a pivot pin or just a pin in general, I try to use random sections of PLA filament. I model in a 2.1 millimeter hole in the body, and it just puts right in, and in the case of this, it works just fine. However, for the eyes, the tolerances are so slim that no matter how much I tried, I can't straighten this out straight enough to make it completely through the eye. And so I was having some trouble until I went in the hobby store and found these brass tubes that are 1/16 of an inch. Coincidentally, just about the same diameter as the PLA. So if you'll notice here, we've got brass tubing running through the eyes to have them mounted and secure. So once everything's done, we're going to trim the excess. But for right now, this is what the inside of a side of Hoot Hoot looks like. We have 2 servo mounts, one for the wing mechanism and one for the eye, with wires coming out of the eye just because the LED mechanism. Once we get everything put together and tested, we will glue the 2 pieces together. And once the 2 pieces are glued together, we can go to the next thing we figured out. I just kind of eyeballed putting a hole in the foot, and luckily, with some wraps of painter's tape around a 3/4 inch dowel, that's exactly what we need. So here are my 2 different feet for Hoot Hoot. We've got about the same length dowel, and as you can see, here's our bottom piece of the body. Once this is all attached, we'll glue it onto here, and it will just have interchangeable feet, just like that. This foot is for sitting on a table or other flat surface. If you'll notice, this foot's kind of curved. That mounts to a glove, so that it'll be able to wrap around my wrist when it sits on the glove. Welcome back, you guys. The table's a complete mess right now. We've been very busy. We got our Amazon order today of 4 servos. I got the cheapest ones I could find, and it shows 2 failed straight out of the package. So we've got 2 plus 1 that I just so happen to have. But the cool part is I get to show you guys what we've been working towards this entire time. The eyes are on their own separate battery, so we can turn those on. But here's the best part. He can look around, and if you guys take a look on the side here, like I said, we're 1 servo short. We'll have to order some more, but you can see a little wing stub that the wing is going to attach to. I am so happy with how it's turning out. We're going to get that new servo ordered, installed, and then we're going to put him all together, and hopefully he will make it to Huntsville next weekend. Okay, I've got everything in both halves wired up and tested. I only stabbed myself twice in the process. These push rods can be very sharp if you don't cut them right. I didn't cut them right, but I want you guys to see the mechanics of how this works. So we're going to zoom in on the eye mechanism. Just like every servo, it's a push and pull. You just manipulate it how you need to. Now let's look for the wing flap. Same method. You see the push rod? Push and pull. It's the same way on both sides. All the servos are hooked up to Y harnesses so that the signal goes to both of them at the same time. Let me find one of this nest of wires here. Yeah, you see 1 wire plugs to the receiver, and then the 2 servos plug into the other end of the Y. Hey guys, you want to see a Hoot Hoot that doesn't have feathers but completely works now? This week we'll paint these, we'll paint around the eyes, we'll paint the beak, we'll put the feathers on, well, the fur, but the feathers, and he should be ready to go to Huntsville next weekend. So I have 5 days to get this together. We can do it. I know we can do it. Hey, why are you running my Pidgeys off? Why are you running my birds off? You're not even supposed to be here. You're supposed to be in Johto.